Martin. Helen presses forward at his side. Leave it. We'll come back when it's cleared up.
Oh, God damn it! Martin shrugs her off and leans over the counter into the checkout girl's face. There is money in that account. Now swipe the card again.
Better do as she says the pushy customer behind him. Martin swings on him, tensed.
This got something to do with you?
I am waiting.
Well, wait some fucking more.
He snaps his fingers in the man's face, dismissing him, and the pushy customer flinches back. Martin turns back to the checkout girl.
Now, you...
The prod hits him in the side like a rude elbow. A heartbeat later, the charge shocks him off the counter and into a seemingly immense clear space. He hits the floor, smelling burned fabric. He hears Helen shriek, sees confusedly from floor level, boots in front of him and a voice that sounds like tearing cardboard at a great height.
I think you'd better leave the store, sir.
The security guard hauls him to his feet and props him against the counter again. A big man, swelling at the waist, but watchful and hard around the eyes. He's been doing this for a long time. Probably cut his teeth on cordon-zone clubs before he got this gig. He's shocked men before, and Martin is out of office clothes at 4:30 on a Wednesday afternoon, casual in faded jeans and a well-worn crew-necked pullover that doesn't show what it was once worth. The security guard thinks he has the measure of this one. He doesn't know. Can't know. Martin comes off the counter. The palm heel strike smashes the guard's nose flat. The knee goes in at groin level. As the guard falls, Martin drives into the base of his skull with one clenched fist. The guard hits the ground, a dead weight.
Stand where you are.
Martin reels around and comes face to face with the guard's smaller female partner, just as she clears a pistol from her holster. Still scrambled from the cattle prod, he lurches the wrong way, toward her, and the guard blows his brains out all over his wife and son and the checkout girl, and all the shiny packaged items on the belt that they can no longer afford. File number 1. Initial Investment. Chapter 1. Awake. Jackknifed, there in sweat. Fragments of the dream still pinning his breath in his throat, and his face into the pillow. Mind reeling in the darkened room. Reality settled over him like a fresh sheet. He was home. He heaved a shuddering sigh and groped for the glass of water beside the bed. In the dream, he'd been falling to and then through the tiles of the supermarket floor. On the other side of the bed, Carla stirred and laid a hand on him.
Chris?
It's okay. Dream, he gulped from the glass. Bad dream, Sol.
Murchison again?
He paused, peculiarly unwilling to correct her assumption. He didn't dream about Murchison's screaming death much anymore. He shivered a little. Carla sighed and pulled herself closer to him. She took his hand and pressed it onto one full breast.
My father would just love this. Deep stirrings of conscience. He's always said you haven't got one.
Right. Chris lifted the alarm clock and focused on it. 3:20. Just perfect. He knew he wouldn't get back to sleep for a while. Just fucking perfect. He flopped back, immobile. Your father has convenient amnesia when it comes to clearing the rent.
Money talks. Why do you think I married you?
He rolled his head and butted her gently on the nose. Are you taking the piss out of me? For answer, she reached down for his prick and rolled it through her fingers.
No, I'm winding you up,
she whispered. As they drew together, he felt the hot gust of desire for her blowing out the dream, but he was slow to harden under her hand. It was only in the final throes of climax that he finally let go. Falling. It was raining when the alarm sounded. Soft hiss outside the open window like an untuned TV at very low volume. He snapped off the bleeper, lay listening to the rain for a few moments, and then slid out of the bed without waking Carla. In the kitchen he set up the coffee machine, ducked into the shower, and got out in time to steam milk for Carla's cappuccino. He delivered it to her bedside, kissed her awake, and pointed it out. She'd probably drift off to sleep again and drink it cold when she finally got up. He lifted clothes from the wardrobe, plain white shirt, one of the dark Italian suits, the Argentine leather shoes. He took them downstairs. Dressed but untied, he carried his own double espresso into the living room with a slice of toast to watch the 7 o'clock bulletins. There was, as usual, a lot of detailed foreign commentary, and it was time to go before the promotions and appointments spot rolled around. He shrugged, killed the TV, and only remembered to knot his tie when he caught himself in the hall mirror. Carla was just making awake noises as he slipped out of the front door and disabled the alarms on the Saab. He stood in the light rain for a long moment, looking at the car. Soft beads of water glistening on the cold, grey metal. Finally he grinned. "Conflict investment, here we come," he muttered, and got in. He got the bulletins on the radio. They started promotions and appointments as he hit the Elsenham Junction ramp. Liz Linshaw's husky tones, just a touch of the cordon zones to roughen up the otherwise cultured voice. On TV, she dressed like a cross between a government arbitrator and a catered party exotic dancer, and in the last 2 years she had graced the pages of every men's lifestyle magazine on the rack. The discerning exec's wet dream, and by popular acclaim, the AM ratings queen of the nation. "Very few challenges on the roads this week," she told him huskily. "The Congo bid playoff we've all been waiting on is postponed till next week. You can blame the weather forecasts for that, though it looks from my window as if those guys have blown it again. There's less rain coming down than we had for Saunders Nakamura. Still nothing on the no-name orbital call-out for Mike Bryant at Shorn Associates. Don't know where you've got to, Mike, but if you can hear me, we're anxious to hear from you. And so, to new appointments this week. Jeremy Tealby makes partner at Collister McLean. I think we've all seen that coming for a long time now. And Carol Dexter upgrades to senior market overseer for Mariner Sketch following her spectacular performance last week against Roger Inglis. Now back to Shorn again, for word of a strong newcomer in the conflict investment division." Chris's eyes flickered from the road to the radio. He touched up the volume a notch. "Christopher Faulkener, headhunted from investment giants Hammett McCall, where he's already made a name for himself in emerging markets." Regular Prom and App followers may recall Chris's remarkable string of successes at Hammett McCall, commencing with the swift elimination of rival Edward Quain, an exec some 23 years his senior at the time. Vindication of the move came rapidly when... Excitement ran an abrupt slice into her voice. "Oh, and this just in from our helicopter team. The no-name call-out on Mike Bryant has broken, with 2 of the challengers down past Junction 22 and the 3rd signalling a withdrawal. Bryant's vehicle has apparently sustained minimal damage, and he's on his way now. We'll have in-depth coverage and an exclusive interview for the lunchtime edition. Looks like the start of a good week for Shorn Associates then, and I'm afraid that's all we've got time for this morning. So back to the current affairs desk. Paul?" "Thank you, Liz. First up, the falling rates of production in the manufacturing sector threaten a further 10,000 jobs across the NAFTA territories, according to an analysis by the Glasgow-based independent news group. A Trade and Finance Commission spokesman has called the report subversively negative. More on the—" Chris tuned it out, vaguely annoyed that Bryant's no-name scuffle had knocked his name off Liz Linshaw's crimson lips. The rain had stopped, and his wipers were beginning to squeak. He switched them off and shot a glance at the dashboard clock. He was still running early. The proximity alarm chimed. He caught the accelerating shape in the otherwise deserted rear view and slewed reflexively right, into the next lane, brake back. As the other vehicle drew level, he relaxed. The car was battered and primer-painted in mottled tan, custom-built like his own, but not by anyone who had any clue about road raging. Heavy steel barbs welded onto the front fenders, bulky external armouring folded around the front wheels and jutting back to the doors.